All right, and welcome to part 5 of the 6-part series looking into authenticity and the road home to our truest nature. You can find part 4 right there, which will lead you to part 3, which will lead you to part 2 and 1 and so on. And you can watch these in any order, it doesn't really matter, although if you do choose to engage with this, it's recommended that you watch all of the videos because every single one of these aspects, if there is any hesitation, it will indicate where identity wants to linger and where the obstruction and maybe the obstacle is lingering, the whisper, so to speak. So to cover things again, imagine our truest nature as this beam of white light and it's hitting a prism here, and over this direction it spreads out in a multitude of colors. Even though there's a multitude of colors here and a white light here, they are essentially the same thing. There really is no difference. This is how authenticity seems to show up. These aspects that we speak about, they all are aspects of what it is to achieve or realize, rather, our truest nature. And something strange begins to happen. A paradox arises. When we become 100% authentic and we realize our truest nature, we also simultaneously begin to see that there is no self at all. Something else seems to be going on. And so today we are going to talk about participation and the necessity of play, the necessity of experimentation, engagement, immersion, and presence. To participate is to be aware. It is to be immersed in this moment, in this life, 100%. It is to feel. It is to be able to pay attention to thoughts and simultaneously have a complete awareness over the sensational space. It is stillness. Participation and play isn't just about doing or actions externally. It is being completely engaged with our attention. And what's strange about this is that even when we are engaged with attention, there might be a subtle sense of doership there. Yet, it is actually an aspect of us that is always present. And this is why I think it seems as if those who have had an awakening have a sense of something being completely familiar even though everything has changed. Because our presence, our ability to feel, that part of us has always been here. In fact, it's been here longer than our ability to formulate conceptual thought. We've been feeling since the moments we were in our mother's womb, and that has never changed. So to be completely immersed, to allow ourselves to fall into that which is immediate, that is participation, to be aware, to be engaged. And externally, it can show up as running experiments and play. This can be fun, this can be light, and letting curiosity and some of these other aspects of our truest nature drive some of this force, we begin to see that play allows us to see what more is here. And it's not following a belief that there is more. Instead, it is just being curious for curiosity's sake and letting these experiments play themselves out and just playing. So what does that look like? It could look like something externally, could look like an experience we have in close relationships or at work, and just doing that which is outside of the pattern. It could be playing with inquiry and thoughts and noticing patterns of thought that maybe orient themselves around a belief or judgment or maybe even an identity itself, and allowing ourselves to experience something outside of that pattern. That is a form of play. That is a form of experimentation. And with all of these suggestions here on this channel and all of the conceptual ideas that are presented, it is just concept. It doesn't mean anything. The only thing that actually matters here in this realm is firsthand experience. There's no question about that. And so, see for yourself. In a way, non-duality is a skeptic's dream because the only way to know anything is to experience it firsthand, and therefore to play with everything, to experiment with everything, to question everything in a loose, open, and light way will start to reveal more. So even in the emotional place, if you're in a place where you feel maybe what you would label anxiety or something along those lines, allow yourself to play, experiment, and see what more is there. How do I know this is anxiety? How do I know this is sadness? So on and so forth. You can even ask questions along the lines of, has it always been this way? Is this the same exact sensation it's always been? Will it always be this way? Will it just continue in this pattern, and am I doomed? Most often when we ask these types of questions in a state of play, we begin to see that even if the answer is, I don't know, it's a hell of a good answer, because it tells us that we can't know. And we don't have to default to what we know or knowledge, this fixed idea, this fixed conceptual understanding of the universe, and we allow ourselves to be completely immersed. That is play. Being engaged with ourselves, being engaged with the way we feel, being engaged with this moment, that's immersion. That's play. That is participation. And so, allow yourself to play. See if you can take this light. See when you watch thoughts if there's something that might be funny that arises. You might remember when you were a young child and you would just play. You didn't really have a goal in mind. There weren't even rules. It was just open-ended. This is the type of participation that we're looking at. Let it all be open-ended. Don't seek any kind of platform or finality. Instead, just play. Just experiment. What lies outside of that which seems usual? That's the name of the game. And that type of engagement will just take us closer to this moment. And immediate within this moment begins to reveal much, much more. The experiences could be something like fireworks, something in the visual field, maybe something audio, maybe something sensational or otherwise. Yet the point is to live and to live all the way. That's what this is all about. Run experiments. Ask yourself, am I always this way? Will it always be this way? And see what happens. See if you're being open enough to see what lies outside of that which seems mundane. Because I think you might find that which is the most simple and the most mundane is actually the most interesting. That place right here, right now. This life is fun. And it seems really clear that there's this epic cosmic joke in play right now. And maybe the best we can do, the highest purpose we could possibly find, is simply to play. Nothing heavy. Something light. So, enter into a stage of participation. Full participation. Don't just dip in the toe. Jump all the way in. This is your life. This is this life. This is this moment. Jump all the way in. Be immersed. Because you don't really have a choice anyway. You can't step outside of the universe. You cannot be unique amongst all the things that are interconnected in essentially one thing, even if the mind is convincing you of that. Watch your thoughts. Play with your thoughts. Laugh at your thoughts. And be immersed in the sensational space right here, right now. In motion, play, and also in a sense of stillness, play. Is this an emotion that's always the same? Is it ever changing? And let intuition guide you. Likely there will be things that come up, and just follow those even if they don't make sense. That's kind of the point. This is all about full engagement. Hopefully you're willing to play. Hopefully this video encourages you to want to engage in that way. And if you want to kind of play the role of the scientist, do that too. Either way, it's one heck of a ride. Play, participate, and allow yourself to be fully immersed.